as you see, the guys are getting lunch ready for you. So they are getting it ready. But we call this the Tommy Bone Confined Space Training Simulator. And Tommy Bone worked in, as you see, he worked in Rescue 4, Rescue 3. He worked a lot of places, and he was also an iron worker. He was very instrumental in getting this confined space simulator because he knew that we needed the training to, when we were called, to get out there and practice our different skills and techniques. So inside these trailers, there's all different tunnels and tools and so that when the guys come out, they can crawl through ship baffles, they can go through different tight areas and things like that.
Do they smoke it?
Usually not in here, we don't smoke this up, but if we do, we'll put distorted vision face masks on the guys to reduce the visibility, or we'll just close it and make it dark. The burn buildings with smoking and stuff is actually right across the street. And then the whole training area has actually been built up behind us. There's a whole
tanker.
There's a trench simulator for practicing if there's a trench collapse. In the back there, we cut up cars. We have the subway simulator. We have a full subway station. Yep, in Building 14, there is a full, I think it's about 400 feet long subway track with subway cars in there to practice, what if. We actually, if you look right over the top, we actually just had an airplane. Wow. We got an airplane from JFK Airport. Half of it's going to be attached to Building 14 here, and that's to do if a plane is at the airport and they're having a problem on the tarmac, practicing how to get on and get off. And then the other half of the plane is actually going to be, we have what we call our collapse pile in the back, and we're actually going to put the plane like it actually crashed, sort of like it did out in the, several weeks after 9/11 in the Rockaways there. But there's going to be a plane on top of so the guys can practice. And as we know, if you train, you perform the way you train. And if we train hard and we train well, that it's gonna pay off at the moment of truth. And so I wish I could walk you around to everything right this instant.
It's amazing. I mean, it's really built up.
It is built up tremendously, over 20 years, and that's and they keep adding to it. Chief McSweeney and Chief Lieb, they keep coming up with ideas to adding things, and we're trying to build different props at different places. I think we might be running out of room. So, yeah, we might have to start building up.
But it is nice that you're anticipating, training them to anticipate. But I think even by doing that, it's like even for things that you're not training them for, they'll have some sort of basic knowledge to help them. If something comes their way that maybe they've never seen before, they're able to handle it.
And that's one of the things and it starts here at the Fire Academy when you're a probie, and that's the whole idea with pro is that they're building a base, so that as they go on through their career, it's maybe they might not see that thing right away, but maybe 5-10 years down the road, it's in there.
Could be one sentence.
Could be one sentence that they remember, and so that's what's going on here, here at the Rock, and I keep reiterating, that we are indebted, to you guys, to your families, for what you guys have sacrificed, and to know, I hope you know that that
it makes
we are always
feel not special, just to see what you do for us.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you put out food in front of a bunch of firemen,
Thank you.
Ladies, why don't you all have a little lunch, LT? If you wouldn't mind staying with me, and you and I can get a little deeper into this.
Yeah, come on up. I'll show you the confined space simulator. So when you come up, depending on what type of training that we're trying to do, we have different levels to the confined space simulator. This one here would be a horizontal entry. So you look in here, you can see all the baffles and tight areas. Okay, you go crawl in there. You know, for any type of.
Oh wow, that goes pretty deep.
It does. It goes pretty deep. As you can see, you know, we have baffles. You'll crawl through that. It makes it a confined. It makes it tough on the guys to train. Tubes. You know, we have different tubes to go through. And this is to train. We go to a commercial site, any type of industrial site with a confined space. So we bring our training dummies in here, lay them out. So any type of industrial site, commercial site, somebody's workers inside, they get themselves trapped. Training is so that we can practice it. So when we're actually on an emergency, it's not the first time that we're seeing it. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you know, every day is a little bit different. But there also, I'll show you up top. We got some stuff up top that we can take a look at.
Sounds good. Quite the view up here.
Yeah. So this here, we call this our offset vertical. This is actually based off a real incident that happened up in the Bronx in an auto body dealership. Not a very good one, but a guy was down in their oil pit, and when Rescue 3 went to get it to go rescue the guy, the underground tank had actually shifted, and this spot here is actually movable, so we can make the opening as wide or as narrow as we want to make it hard for the rescuer to get in and to get out. So down in there, we're basically recreating that incident that we had up in the Bronx with the reduced opening and then going through the whole confined space evolution. So a lot of the stuff that we try to do here is built off real life experience that has happened before.
Is this part of the rescue training or is this general ops?
This is rescue training.
Okay.
This is in the squads and the rescues. The probies are learning their basic skills.
Yeah.
It's not until you come to the rescue school to go into one of the squads or the rescues that you'll be coming through training like this. In probie school, they'll get confined space awareness training. This is confined space technician training. This is high level stuff for the fire department.
Yeah, because I was thinking you'd have to have a reduced profile. You're thinking supplemental air systems and everything.
Yep, exactly.
So it's a little next level.
This is next level stuff
Yeah.
in this one.
Very cool.
Let me see if this is open over here.
You want some help?
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Can you go?
Yeah.
I don't got it.
I got it.
All right.
It's heavy.
All right. So this is what's called our vertical entry. As you see, we already have a preset high point, and this is where somebody's gone down, like a Con Ed worker or utility worker has gone down into a shaft. So this is used in our SOC support ladder training program and also with our squads and our rescues, learning how to rig a high point using an aerial, and then lowering a member down through a confined space, packaging the victim down at the bottom, and then being able to haul that victim up through a confined space. So it's about as real as you can get in a training scenario.
Definitely.
So that's we can send 1, 2 guys down, and then it's all about line management up here.
Sounds good.
What else can I show you?
What else you got?
Here obviously is the bottom of that vertical tube that we're at. So guy would be lowered down here, assess our victim, and do any type of packaging, whether it's a longboard and Stokes, a spec pack, or a reef sleeve as we call it, and then he would package them up, bring them up that way. We do have some added interesting things down here. We can actually put the victim back in there, so really make it difficult.
Why do you guys want to get in there and show?
No thanks. Oh yeah, you got a little slide, incline wall on that side.
Right, so that's the other thing. We have the, we can see it. It's kind of tough to see the different tunnels,
Yeah.
confined space tunnels. And again, it's all about getting the guy used to crawling through a condensed space. And that's one of the reasons why, in a probationary firefighter's entrance exam, they have the U-shaped tunnel in the CPAT exam. It's to see how somebody's going to deal in a confined space, an enclosed area. Well, this takes it to the next level. Very condensed, very small, and working by yourself or with one other person. It's so the guys have done a tremendous job building this.
It's beautiful.
We have what's called the ball pit in here, and again, it's just a prop to add another level of obstacles to a guy to get in and how to package a patient. The other nice thing about some of this stuff, it's also movable. We can change the props around. One of the things that happens in training a lot is once guys do it,
Muscle memory.
they turn it into muscle memory and they just know. So if you come in and you change one or two things in a training scenario, it helps the guy instead of doing the same thing over
Memorizing
and
the
over.
building and all that. Yeah.
So it's a little bit different
That's cool.
each time. So that's again back behind the flaps is more tunnels and movable objects so that we can help the guys train.
It's amazing. Who conceptualized this?
Well,
What's the
Tommy Bone, Lieutenant Tommy Bone, who you saw the
dedication?
the dedication, the small plaque to. He was one of the first guys to really push this when he was an instructor out here at the rescue school. Back in the prior to the mid '90s, I would say, the rescues kind of trained their own guys. So Rescue 1, did things their way. Rescue 2 did things a little bit different. Rescue 3, they were big into the collapse. So they trained their guys their way. But then when they created the rescue school out here, and they started to put things in order and come up with a plan as to a school, the original guys that were out here, Ray Downey was the chief, and Tommy Bone and Lieutenant Tom Donnelly, they came out here and they built this school from basically an office in a trailer to a lot of the props that are being added here on the Fire Academy grounds are based out of the rescue school.
I'm really jealous. But it's a lot of the stuff you guys are doing. It's trend setting. It's groundbreaking. You're setting the standard, and it's beautiful.
It's tough. It's a tough thing to do, but we know that we got to do it. So it's so that the next generation of guys, they're a little bit better than us, and that's the
right.
mark of a good firefighter, is to train the next generation. So as you know, as you've walked around here and seen our different training props, the Confined Space Simulator, we have our memorial to the Father's Day, for Downey and Fahey. We're adding on the bottom of it, we're adding the post 9/11 New York City firefighters that have died due to 9/11 illnesses. One of the things that we do to honor is our different props all have associated names to them a lot of times. So, this is the Tommy Bone, was one of the instigators to grow the Confined Space Simulator. If you walk around, you see each of our street signs. There's actually named streets here on the Fire Academy.
Huh.
And that's actually from the 23rd Street fire. The 12 members of Engine 18, Ladder 7, the streets on this Fire Academy are actually named after those guys.
Wow.
So the history of the job will live on forever. And a lot of guys just say, oh, I'm on, what's his street? Why is it named after, that name? And oh, that guy, he was on the 23rd Street fire, in that collapse or something like that. Or the Ford, Downey and Fahey. Who are they? It's 20 years later. Some people don't remember the history, but that's one of our things that we do to honor and also to remember and to learn and to train on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
LT, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
having
sir.
us out here.
No, I appreciate
We
it.
really appreciate your time.
No, anytime, and chow's on.
All right. Thank you, sir.